You Dallas Cowboy fans are something else. You know they can't be San Francisco. As I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk, Rafique, Louison, Ryan Walker, Jaden Edwards, also known as Talking Spicy on hand. Welcome to the show for the first time. How about the St. Peter's Peacocks as they make it to their first Elite Eight appearance? As I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk, Ryan Walker. I know you watched a lot of the games. Well, not really a lot of the games, but you've seen the way that they progressed throughout this tournament. You was happy when they took out Kentucky, and now, I want your thoughts on how they got through the next two rounds. Yeah, that block by Brittany Griner was just so ridiculous. As I welcome you to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Look, before we get to everything else you want to talk about, Ryan Walker, let me just ask this one question. You, A'ja Wilson, you going for it, layup that would have tied Game 5 of the WNBA semifinals. Would you be crying like A'ja Wilson was in the press conference? Let's talk. We still celebrating Women's History Month. And who better to celebrate it with than Growing Our Games founder, Shanae Joy Jones. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rafique. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have you here too. So why don't you talk a little bit about your brand and Grow Our Game? Okay, let's recap the Thanksgiving games for the NFL as we saw the Lions and the Cowboys lose in late second field goals. And then Buffalo smoked the New Orleans Saints. So, thoughts, Ryan?
Oh, Jesus.
Which team do you think had the worst loss on Turkey Day? I got you with another episode, Nothing But That Sports Talk. Rafique, Louison, Ryan Walker, Shantae on hand. And then we got the owner of Dykeman Park, or should I say the CEO of Dykeman Park, Ken Stevens. Welcome to the show, my guy. Let's start off with why you got into doing sports talk in the media field. Kalia Copper really pointed out at the press conference a couple of days ago. She pointed out, you don't think about the regular season when the playoffs come. You took out Enrique Iguodala's Wings in her first playoff game in her WNBA career. You took out the Minnesota Lynx, a team that Candace Parker is very familiar with during her first two finals appearances. You upset the team that Candace Parker lost to twice, and the Chicago Sky lost without her, and now you defeat the Phoenix Mercury, avenging them for the loss in 2014. You remember the one, Tarika, where they got swept up and Diana Taurasi hit that clutch three-point play. You remember that one. This is Rafique with Nothing But That Sports Talk. Congratulations on the win. Damian Lillard was lights out in tonight's victory. How much of an honor is it to play with them during the Olympics?
It's a dream come true. It's just something that I've studied and I've watched before, and what I said earlier, the chance to represent your country is, the most prestigious event in basketball. So it's been an honor to.
Hey, congratulations on being the most improved player. I just want to know, how much have you enjoyed your offensive development and team playing your mentality on the court on your way towards being most improved?
I mean, I've enjoyed every step of the way. There's always a lot of up and downs every season.
Like we said. I mean, I know we kind of jump into HBCU topic, but this is very interesting to talk about because Howard, being the HBCU school that it is, they got to see an NCAA tournament win. Something that probably would never happen if they didn't put the first four for the women's side. So They should be glad. You want to know who else should be glad? St. Peter's upsetting Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Who would have thought? The biggest bracket buster up until this point. Thoughts?
Oh, man.
Exactly. Look at Auburn. Did we think that Auburn was going to be the one seed? Nobody talked about that. But
yes.
They've had a lot of years when they were number one team or they had number two seeds, and they faced a lot of upsets. So he had a lot of positive moments, but they did face some upsets. Like when they were taken out by VCU in the 2007 March Madness tournament, or 2 years later after barely surviving in Vermont, they got taken out by West Virginia. Oh yeah, there's also a national championship wins they got against Butler. It will be the first of back-to-back losses by the Butler Bulldogs. I mean, obviously they couldn't really beat nobody. But let's not forget the fact that there's also one negative moment where they couldn't even hold their own against Tyler Hansbrough. After Tyler Hansbrough's college basketball career in North Carolina, he did all right in the NBA, but nowhere to be found. Exactly. The Nets are really the projected winners of the 2022 NBA Finals anyway. But it's just a matter of it can stay healthy. Because last year, the Nets weren't healthy all year, but yet they finished with the second best record in the Eastern Conference. James Harden came on the team, had an incredible debut for the Brooklyn Nets. And when that trade with James Harden happened, I literally got on the phone with my friend saying James Harden got traded. It blew everybody's mind, let alone what he did for the Nets. The game winner against the Phoenix Suns. The way he carried the team when Kevin Durant was out for 2 months. This man is doing everything that he did when he played for the Houston Rockets. Yeah, and I can tell growing up a Kansas Jayhawk fan, you might see a lot of ups and downs from when that championship run in 2008, where you took out Stephen Curry's Davidson.
That game was
smoked
stressful.
North Carolina. And that iconic clutch shot by Mario Chalmers to take out Memphis, to not only force overtime, but they smoked Memphis in overtime as well. And they were
I get chills. I get chills just even thinking about that game. Still, I get chills.
But
we're gonna do that later. But
stick to talking about your Lakers fandom. I know you enjoyed being a Lakers a lot from the day you started watching it. From Kobe Bryant's shot in 2006 to the 62-1-point game.
That's my favorite shot. How'd you know that?
That shot. Oh, man. And it was my first year watching the NBA playoffs. I enjoyed watching that game. I was like, I know Kobe's going to help. I was like, Kobe really did that. And the next day, a student came to me in Canarsie, was asking me, did you see that shot by Kobe Bryant? I was like, of course I did. That was crazy. And it was
I don't think there's nobody in the United States of America that missed that shot.
But you know what? The way Destiny Henderson balled out all the way up until the national championship, she should be glad she even drafted to the WNBA at all. I mean, seriously. You only, it's like literally 144 spots in the WNBA. And Ryan Rucco touched up on this on the broadcast. It's very tough to get into this league. This is Rafique with Nothing But That Sports Talk. I got a question for Diane Taurasi. The team scored a total of 50 points in the loss.
50?
Can we expect a much better offensive?
Well, I hope so. We can't be any worse than 50, buddy. 50 pretty bad, Rafi.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be better. We'll be better than 50.
Appreciate your insight. Good luck.
Go to Vegas with that one.
And I want to talk about how the new supporting skills that you gained helps you with your entertainment career. Well, my thoughts is I'm actually glad it did nothing because you don't want to pick up anybody where you're basically ruining the team. Like how when the Mets made that Marcus Stroman trade and they attempted to trade Noah Syndergaard, but you know what? Sticking with the Yankees, they were smart for not making those trades. They were pretty banged up all season. What more do you want? You can see the background that I've had with the man that surpassed Ray Allen for the most three-point shots at Madison Square Garden. But since you're on the Zoom call along with your child, let me just ask you this one question. As a Knicks fan, are you happy that Stephen Curry broke the record at all? Or at the very least, you were disappointed that it happened against your favorite team and my favorite team as well? This is Rafique with Nothing But That Sports Talk. I just want to ask you, what are some of the stuff that you guys worked on in practice as far as late game executions and preventing teams from hanging around?
We focused on us in practice, ran through our offensive sets. That's one thing we've been doing a lot in practice.
Yeah, speaking of, well, now that we're in the middle of going into next season, I want to get your impressions about the way that the playoff run for the Nets went last year, where Kevin Durant literally came within an air ball away from making it to the conference finals. In the losses that they did have, they got smoked by the Chicago Sky 2 days in a row. They got smoked by the Mercury 2 days in a row. The one game where they dared to play Sue Bird and Stewart, they got smoked at the Barclays Center. And even though they came out hot at the beginning of that game when they had to play it down in Washington, they couldn't even protect that lead. And that just shows that the defense is just so passive on the inside trying to guard Brianna Stewart. I was like, oh, crud. I mean, all you can do is just pray to God they miss. I mean, Sabrina, that's who got to that hard start, but that tends to cool off a lot. We saw more Sabrina Nescu than we did at the NBA bubble, to be fair. I mean, she had one of the most memorable shots to open up the season against the Indiana Fever. Yeah, it's good to have you back. And I understand that you've been observing basketball like crazy throughout this year. And you just had your first season back at Rucker Park this past summer. Like, what is the feeling of being able to get back to MC basketball games again